So, what we are going to attempt to do with the time that is remaining is do absolute value inequalities. Alright, so before we get to the absolute value inequalities, let's just review an absolute value equation. So let's say it had x plus 3 minus 5 equals 2. What should we do first?
Add 5.
Add the 5. Alright, so we add the 5 and we get add the 5. And now, from last week, what do we do at this step?
Now you do the thing where you do the lines like that. Like how you gonna use it? And then it's x plus 3 equals negative 7, or x plus 3 equals positive 7.
Right. This stuff on the inside could be positive or negative. So once I get the absolute value alone, I split it into two pieces, and then I subtract the 3, and then I'll subtract this 3, and I get my two answers. So that's what we were doing at the end of last week. So now we're just going to extend that. So I would understand if you found this next stuff actually confusing, because it is probably one of the more confusing things that we'll do this year. So we're going to go through. I heard you. I'm just trying to.
I thought you were switching things.
Oh no, I'm not. We're going to go through a little thinking exercise here. So I want you to stop writing and go through the thinking exercise with me. So let's say I have the absolute value of x, and let's say I want that to be less than 2. Okay? Let's think of that on a number line. So the absolute value in here could be positive or negative, right? And I want all the numbers whose absolute value is less than 2. Put a 3 right there and a negative 3. So what's the absolute value of negative 3? 3. Positive 3. Is that less than 2? No. Okay. How about absolute value of 3? Is that less than 2? No. Alright, now I'll have an open circle here. Now the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. That's close, but it's not quite, so I can't include 2. What about negative 1? What's the absolute value of negative 1? So that works, right? What about the absolute value of 0?
0.
Yep, so that works. It's less than 2. What about the absolute value of positive 1? So do you see that this is going to be all the numbers, everything between negative 2 and 2? Okay? So with an absolute value that's less than, so if I have an absolute value with a less than, and then some number, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sandwich that. And we'll do a few examples where I show you what to do. But the real reasoning here is I want all the numbers whose distance from 0 is less than 2. If I go any further than negative 2 or 2, then I have a distance that is greater than 2. Because absolute value really is just distance from 0. Now another thinking exercise. Let's suppose I want the absolute value of x and be greater than 2. So now I want all the numbers whose absolute value, whose distance from 0 is bigger than 2. Alright, so absolute value of negative 1 is
1.
Is that greater than 2?
No.
Okay, and same for 1. 2. If I do the absolute value of 2, that's not greater than 2, but it's awfully close. How about the absolute value of 3?
Yeah.
And then you'd see all these numbers going that way. And same over here. Absolute value of negative 3 is 3, and that's bigger than 2, so all these numbers going that way. So in this case, with the greater than, if I have an absolute value with a greater than a number case, I'm going to split them. Alright, now I'll give you a moment to write all that down. Okay. So I hope you got that, but if not, I'll explain it again tomorrow because we'll practice all these absolute value things. But I do want to do a few examples with you so that you can see what's going on, and our class time is short. So I'm just going to go ahead and go on. So let's say I have the absolute value of x plus 5 is less than 8. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I recognize, oh, this is a less than case, right? So this is going to be a sandwich case because I want all the things that are less than 8. And I might even do like a number line. You don't have to do this, but I might quickly be like, okay, so all the absolute values between these. And then I'm going to drop it down. So I have negative 8 is less than x plus 5 is less than 8. And then from earlier, what did we do with a situation like this?
Minus 5.
And then we did it through 3 things, right? So I have negative 13 is less than x is less than 3. And that's my answer. I'm done.
So you're going to solve the top one?
No. You need to, if it's an absolute value with an inequality, you need to first decide if it's a sandwich or a split. And this is the actual solving of that. Because I want all the numbers whose absolute value is between or no bigger than 8 when we put it in here. Okay, so on this next one, here's what we need to do. This is a split case, okay? Because it's a greater than. So I have negative 4 or 4, right? So I could go this way, in this way. It's a split case. So then what I do is I use this graph to help me set it up. It's x plus 2 is less than or equal to negative 4. And x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 4. See, and I use this graph to help me. It's the less than case and it's a greater than case. They are going opposite ways. So notice how they go in opposite directions. Do you see that? You could also think of it like this. Look up here. Look, 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 look. If I multiplied this by a negative, what would that mean I need to do with this thing?
Flip it.
And it did, didn't it? Okay? So you could think of it like that as well. Now I solved each one of these. And that's my answer. And that's an OR. Because I can't, there's no overlap there, so it's not in hand. Did you have an assignment I was supposed to collect today?
No.
And a nice teacher didn't give you homework on Friday.
You?
Yeah, because we won our
Yeah,
soccer game.
I'm your favorite math teacher.
Yeah, we won the soccer game.
Of all your math teachers you have this year.
5 and 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have no homework this week thanks to the soccer team and their victories.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, the board is empty. You didn't have a quiz and test. Friday, possibly. Okay, let's do some more examples. Let's say I have negative 2, absolute value 3x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 10. Negative 10. So what should I do? What should I do first?
Add 2.
Careful. This is negative 2 times it. Now I can never distribute into there. So I divide by negative 2. And when I divide by negative 2, what happens to this?
It flips.
Okay? Now, we have to think, is this a sandwich or a split?
Sandwich.
And how do we know?
Because it's a list.
Yeah, it's a less than. Okay, so you don't have to do this number line. I just find that it's helpful to think about it. I want all the numbers whose absolute value is less than 5. So I have this case. So that's a sandwich. You don't have to do that, but I find it helps.
Okay, you just said we're going back over this tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I just proved he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, he's bonobo. All right, now what do we do to solve this?
You have to subtract 5.
Subtract 5 from everything. So we get negative 10 is less than or equal to 3x is less than or equal to 0. Now what do we do?
Now you divide by
And we get negative 10/3 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 0. And that's our answer.
Would you put that in decimal too?
I only want decimals if we start with decimals. But technically it wouldn't be wrong.
Okay.
What's that?
It's the Wicked Witch.
Which teacher's that?
Hey. I'm the witch.
I'm in.
Can witches be girls? Can men be witches?
Or can
Yeah.
I think they're called warlocks.
Yeah, warlocks.
Or wizards, yeah. I want to be a wizard.
You're a witch.
Being a wizard.
I don't want you to be a
Before you're
wizard.
17, you can be a witch.
True.
Like I would want to fight Merlin. Just to be honest about that. Okay. Merlin's going
Sometimes you
down.
say things,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I thought you wanted to do it.
Isn't that Merlin thing from that thing?
Merlin.
That sword in the stone thingy?
Yeah.
Sarah.
You have to do
Not
that.
very nice. All right. Is this a sandwich or a split?
Split.
It is a split. Why? Because it's greater than. So if I were showing this on a number line, I want the absolute values that are further than 7 away from 0. So this is our split. Now, if you don't understand why, you might have to just memorize it for this year. And by the time you're a senior, maybe you'll get it. Because even seniors, like, we do this your senior year. It's true. So if you get it this year, even better. So we do 2x minus 7 is less than equal to, because I'm going to switch that to a negative. So I've like multiplied it by a negative. I didn't multiply this by a negative, but I did multiply that, so that switches that. Or 2x minus 3 is greater than positive 7. Then I solve both of these. And I'm not going to walk through all the little steps there. Hopefully you know how to solve both of those, right?
Yeah.
We did have a homework on solving these, didn't we? Not these, but like if we had like an or, yeah, we could do both of them, right? It might not have been your best assignment ever, but we had
I
it.
don't remember it.
My new phone shit. Okay.
You're gonna get.
Another moto because I'm poor.
Can you get the iPhone 8?
Yeah, with my extra $1,000.
Yeah.
iPhone, listen,
iPhone 7 was more expensive though.
X equals Samsung Galaxy like 5.
What? You got me, Mr. King.
No.
Okay, so whoever watches this, you know, in the future when they're on like iPhone 20,
Yeah, and I'll be like a billionaire.
like how long are they gonna stay open? Can't they go out of business yet? Gosh.
I'm gonna be a SoundCloud rapper. Can't only a I'm gonna be a SoundCloud rapper. I'm gonna make millions.
Oh, okay. You're gonna invent the next Apple device.
No.
Yeah.
It's like gonna be like an implant.
I'm gonna make a better cheap personal phone.
It's like a literal iPhone.
You have
It'll be
an
like
iPhone.
iPhone.
iPhone, like your eyes.
Like literal.
Heck yeah. Oh!
Or they might have, what would be their symbol, like this?
I had an idea. I had an idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of hurt.
That means stop being a bonobo. Alright. This next one. We aren't going to do it. Well, I'm going to have you write it down, but we aren't actually going to solve it. So let's think about this. We want the absolute values that are greater than negative. Now, before, we know absolute value always gives a positive, right? Absolute value always gives a positive. So this is always positive. So this is all the real numbers. Everything. Okay? But let's take a look at this. What if I had it like this? Well, this always is a positive, right? So I could I possibly ever be, you know, negative? No. So this is no solution. Perfect timing.